You anything special planned for the rest of the day?
Why do you ask?
Just answer my question.
Well, I was planning on developing this film. I took it to the doc. That's about it.
Does it have to be done right this moment?
No, it doesn't have to be done right this moment. Why?
I just thought it might be nice if we took off with the children and went to the park for the rest of the day.
That sounds good.
You don't have to get this done right away?
No, I can wait.
Really?
Yeah, do it later. Let's go.
Okay. Wouldn't it be nice if we could spend the rest of our lives like this?
Well, maybe we can.
Really?
Here are the dossiers on Alice Frame, James Frame, Mackenzie Corey, Rachel Corey, Taylor Holloway, Eric Holloway, and Russ Matthews. Have them typed, please.
Certainly, Mr. Hobson.
Quinn, why would Mr. Black want information on these people? They seem like such an odd assortment.
I'm sure he has his reasons.
Yeah, but what?
A word of advice, Mr. Hobson?
Sure.
Mr. Black moves in mysterious ways, and you really shouldn't concern yourself with the whys.
Advice well taken, but that still doesn't keep me from wondering if Mr. Black's ways are strictly legal.
Don't worry, Mr. Hobson. Mr. Black is not involved in anything illegal. His ethics are impeccable, I assure you. Any more questions?
Not for the moment.
And here are Mr. Black's requirements for the penthouse you're going to have designed.
So I'm going to have a penthouse designed, am I?
Oh, Jamie.
Mac, how you doing? How are you?
I'm much better, Jamie.
Good, good. Mac, Sandy left town.
Left town?
Yes.
But why? When?
I don't know why, and I don't know when. I think he left sometime after he realized you were out of danger.
But, Jamie, I can't let him.
Please, you have to stay still. Don't do this to
No,
yourself.
Jamie,
please.
you don't understand. I can't let him just disappear. He's got to come back.
Mac, I've called everyone I know. We can't find him.
But that's not enough, Jamie. I insist. Please,
All
find
right.
him for me.
Okay,
Bring
Mac,
him back, will you?
I will, I promise.
I've got to have
I'll
him
find
back.
him.
You don't understand how important it is. You will after I talk to you.
I'll
please,
do anything I
please
can.
get him back, Janie.
I'll try.
Mac, what's going on in here?
Jamie.
Yes.
Mac, you've got to calm
You'll
down
understand
now, Jamie. I
after
think
I
you
talk
better
to you.
leave.
You've
Come
got-
on.
Please lay back now.
You've got
Jamie,
to get
come
him
on.
back, all right?
All right.
Please?
I promise, Mac, I will.
Jamie, I want you to
promise.
wait for me in my office.
Why?
Because I need to talk to you. Come on. Mac, lie back. Just got to calm down. Everything's going to be all right. We'll be okay. Just calm down.
And now, the continuing story of Another World.
So what's so important that you couldn't tell me over the phone? You're not going to start, are you?
I'm not.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to start in on you, Marianne. It's Dad.
What is it? He's not.
He's in the hospital.
Is it serious?
Aunt Miranda says not.
You talked to her?
Yeah, she's the one called. I guess Dad wants to know and to start worrying.
Wait. What did she say?
She said that he has not been feeling well lately, that he's not sleeping, and that he went in for a complete checkup.
Oh, well, with the pace he keeps, I'm not surprised. How's Mom?
She's fine. She's fine. She's home now.
Yeah, I talked to her last week about that.
Rick, what about you and Marianne? Everything okay with you?
Things are better.
Well, better than what?
Better than last week.
She loves you.
Maybe. Not as much as I love her, and I don't think she ever will.
She wants to, and you know that.
Yeah, but Kit, even when you want something, no matter how much, you just can't make it happen.
Perhaps you'd better check this over.
Did you read it?
Yes, I have.
Or is it what Mr. Black wanted?
It's exactly what Mr. Black wanted.
Quinn.
Yes, Mr. Hobson?
I've been going through this file, and it seems to me that there's tons of work to be done in the penthouse, not to mention the heliport. I'm going to need a good contractor. You know where I can find one?
Yes. I know of a good, reliable man. He's always working, has a good reputation. He was in charge of the dock site last winter and has just finished a high-rise downtown. I believe he might be available. You might want to interview him.
Sounds just like what I'm looking for. What's his name?
Frankie Cavallo.
Would you give him a call for me, please?
Would 5 o'clock this afternoon be convenient for you?
Fine.
Jamie, I hope you don't think that I'm butting in where it's none of my business.
What is it?
Well, you and I have known each other for a long time, and I wouldn't even bring this up, except that I think it may be something that you're not aware of. At least I hope you're not aware of it.
Yeah.
Are you aware that Rick and Marianne are having marital problems?
Problems?
They've been having some rather serious fights recently, and they're both very upset about it.
What are they fighting about?
You?
Me?
Rick thinks that you may be involving yourself too much in his and Marianne's lives.
Did Rick tell you this?
No, Marianne did.
Marianne? Marianne thinks I've intruded into their lives?
Well, that's not exactly what she said. What she actually said was that, Rick is very insecure where you're concerned, and she feels that if you continue to involve yourself in their lives, that you might come between them.
Well, I never meant to come between them.
Oh, I know that, Jamie. I wasn't sure that you were aware of the situation.
I wasn't. And I never meant to hurt Marianne. I would never hurt Marianne or Rick.
I know that.
So don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. I'm not sure how yet, but I'll take care of it.
Hello, Mac.
Oh.
How you doing?
Oh, much better, Alice.
I just spoke with Russ. He says you're going to need some convalescent care, but he'll come down and talk with you more about it later himself.
Oh, fine, but have you heard from Jamie yet?
Well, he only left the hospital a few minutes ago. It's not been very long.
Oh. Oh, I must have fallen asleep then.
No, I had a discussion with Jamie in my office before he left.
Oh? I hope you weren't angry with him for upsetting me. I know I was a little overwrought, but don't blame Jamie.
No, Mac. That wasn't what we talked about.
No?
No. And I'm beginning to have second thoughts about what I did say to him.
Can you talk to me about it?
Well, I heard something that disturbed me a great deal, so I felt that I should discuss it with Jamie.
That sounds pretty serious to me.
Well, I thought it was. Oh, Mac, I don't know. Maybe you can tell me if I did the right thing. Rick and Marianne are having marital problems right now.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But unless they're young, newlyweds, they'll be able to work it out.
Well, that's why I talked to Jamie.
Well, I don't see what Jamie has to do with this.
You know that Marianne and I have been very close. We shared an apartment in Chicago.
Yes, I remember Pat telling me about that.
Well, one of the main reasons that Marianne came back to Bay City was Jamie.
Jamie? Really?
Yes.
I'm very surprised. I mean, I know Jamie once had a crush on Marianne, but that was like puppy love. They were just kids then.
Well, that's not the case now. I think Marianne was very disappointed when she came back and found Jamie so deeply involved with Cecile.
Well, I still don't see how Jamie fits in.
Jamie has begun to depend on Rick and Marianne's friendship a little too much. And Marianne, because she cares, has made herself a little too available to help him with his problems.
Oh, now I'm beginning to understand. So, Rick is jealous.
I'm afraid so.
Do you think that Jamie's unaware of what he was doing?
Oh, I'm pretty sure he is.
And I'm pretty sure his trouble with Cecile didn't help this matter any. But, Alice, I'm sure he hasn't given up on his marriage yet.
Well, that's what I believe, too. That's why I think that his coming between Rick and Marianne was inadvertent. Unfortunately, I believe that Rick thinks Jamie's in love with Marianne.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm beginning to wonder myself. You remember Jamie's behavior at Marianne's wedding? It would explain that, as well as his problems with Cecile.
Cecile.
Oh, Melissa, hello.
Well, I hear Jamie's really doing very well after this whole ordeal. How's Mac? Have you seen...
Look. It's not Mac or Jamie I'm concerned about right now.
Really?
It's Sandy. I can't find him anywhere.
Well, rest easy. He's fine.
He is. Where is he? I want to talk to him.
Well, obviously, you haven't been communicating with your husband. I mean, we already had this talk.
Jamie was here?
No, not exactly. But we talked. You haven't, right?
Look, can we just cut the rhetoric? Will you tell me where Sandy is, please?
He left town.
Obviously. Where did he go?
I don't know. He didn't say.
Oh. Maybe it's you who's not saying.
Look, lady, I'm telling you the truth. Now, if you don't believe it, tough luck. But I have a question I'd like you to answer for me.
Oh, you do? Well, what is it?
Why this sudden interest in Sandy?
Well, it's not me exactly. It's Mac. He wants to see him. He's very concerned about him.
I don't know why, Cecile, but I just don't buy it.
By what?
That it's Mac who is so concerned about Sandy.
He is.
Well, what about yourself? You look pretty worried there yourself, Cecile.
Of course I'm worried about him. He's very important to me. He did save my husband's life.
Your husband? Uh-huh. Well, speaking about your husband, I'd like to talk to you about him for a minute.
Well, what would you like to say?
Well, you know, he's a pretty terrific guy, Cecile. It's a shame you don't know it.
Well, thank you for telling me that, Melissa. But I know it.
Well, if that's the case, then I really have to wonder what it is you're up to.
Isn't that pretty? Look at your dad. Look at your dad.
All right.
There, good. Do you need some help?
Nope, I've got it.
I can put him
Just
down on
smile.
the blanket for a minute.
No, everything's fine.
Okay.
There you go, right there. All right.
Can you believe we're doing this, the four of us out in the park together? The all-American family out for an outing, isn't it great?
The best.
We should have been doing this before this now.
Uh-oh. Amanda, go over there. Go with your mom.
Here, come on.
Come on. Come on. Right here.
That's it. Look in the camera. Look at Daddy.
Come on, all right. Matthew.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Look at you. Come
Bat
back.
it to me. Bat it to me. Oh.
Look
Woo.
at here. Look.
Look at your daddy.
Okay.
Okay, up he goes. Are you
No.
ready? Oh, we're getting cranky.
No.
Getting cranky because we haven't had.
No.
Oh, no.
Matthew.
Look at that face. Look at that face. Oh, say, what an unhappy baby. Look at this. Matthew. Here, sit up here and blow it so that Matt can see what it does. That's a girl. Good. Isn't that fun? Good for you. Oh, there you go. There you go. Listen, this isn't fair because we're not getting you in any of these pictures.
Take care of that right now.
Yeah, well, why don't I go over there and you come over here and we can get some pictures with you and the children?
No, because I've got it on a self timer and it'll take 1 second.
Oh, you brought the time.
That's it.
Okay? Quick. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Other way. Other way. cutie. Oh.
That's all right. It's okay.
Jamie. I care for you very much. You know that.
I want to stay the night.
You're married to Cecile. And tomorrow I'm going to marry Rick. You can stay. Just stop. You can stay. Just stay on the couch.
Wait. Rick, you got my message.
Yeah, I was in the neighborhood with the paramedic unit, so rather than call,
Well, I'm glad you came by. Boy, you look beat. Can I get you something? Some coffee?
No, I think I'm too tired to drink it. Let me sit up.
Sure. You know, I just want, I don't know if I let you know, but I just want you to know how grateful I am that you were at the cabin.
It's my job.
No, I don't think of it that way. I mean, you did a lot more than that, and I don't think Mac or I will ever be able to repay you. You saved our lives.
Look, I'm glad I could help. It's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, I used to think so, but sometimes I don't know.
I saw Mac today, you know. He seems quite well.
Oh, yeah, I saw him a little while ago.
Well, the question is then, how are you?
Me? Oh, I'm fine. It only hurts when I laugh.
No, seriously.
Seriously, these broken ribs don't leave much time for extra activity, like laughing.
All right, well, I'll tell you one thing. You're certainly not the pretty boy anymore.
Oh, my face, I know. That'll take a little time, I guess.
Other than that, how are things?
Oh, I'm getting there.
What's bothering you? Is there anything I can do?
No, you've already done enough already. Now it's time I did something for you.
I think I'm a little more weary than I thought. I don't
Rick,
quite understand what you mean.
I want to talk to you about Marianne and me.
What about you and Marianne?
This is going to take a little time, a few minutes. You remember when I was having my drug problem?
How could I forget?
Well, of all the people I knew, you were the only one who was onto the problem.
Man.
You and Marianne.
She figured it out for herself.
Yeah, I know, but it was because of something stupid that I did.
Something stupid? What?
Looking back, I don't know how I could do it. But I almost got her into a lot of trouble because of something I did.
How?
On 2 different occasions, I took the keys and stole some pills from the medicine cabinet at the ECU.
Oh, cabinets that Marianne was responsible for.
That's right. She found out about it and confronted me with it.
But you told her that you took the drugs, right?
Yes. And I talked to her about it. It was the first time I was able to admit to anyone that I had a problem. And she listened.
And she offered to help.
Yeah.
Which sounds very much like Marianne.
Yeah. Do you remember when you kiddingly asked me what made me off for long life and sanity?
Yeah, vaguely I do.
It was Marianne.
I see.
And later you, but then it was just Marianne, her willingness to listen, her concern. I was at a very, low point in my life then. I had just separated from Cecile. And I misunderstood her concern.
And?
And nothing. The night before your wedding, I went over to see Marianne. I needed her. Someone. I wanted to spend the night. And I would have if she had let me, but she didn't. She said that she was in love with you and wanted to marry you. Anyway, by that time I was in pretty bad shape with the drugs, and she let me sleep on the couch. But Rick, nothing ever happened, I swear. Not then, not ever.
Well, I know that now.
Rick, I'm trying to be absolutely honest with you, and I want to be. That night, maybe I did think I was in love with Marianne. But she is not in love with me. I'm married to Cecile, and I've told her that I want to make that marriage work.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm sorry. I never meant to come between you and Marianne. I would never do that. I would never do that to you. I would never do that to Marianne. You've both been good friends to me.
Yeah, listen, I believe you. I do.
No, I promised that I would never do anything to hurt you both.
Look, Jamie.
I mean, I value your friendship.
Jamie, I said it's okay, okay?
And you believe me.
I believe you. Don't worry about it. Okay?
Well, I just don't want to do anything to hurt you both.
You won't. We've got a lot of problems to work out. A lot of them have to do with me and my insecurities. But we'll do it.
Hey, take it easy with those glasses, will you please? I don't know why it is that everybody takes a temper out on the glasses. You know how many cases of those we go through in a month?
Yeah, I think I've seen the bills.
Well, then throw something else, will you please? Like the napkins? Cute. What's eating you?
Cecile Frame, that's what.
What's she done?
She came in here before and started asking a whole lot of questions about Sandy.
That's it? Aren't you overreacting a little bit?
Maybe. That woman just rubs me the wrong way.
All right, what did you want to know?
Well, all I could get out of her was that she just wanted to know where Sandy is.
No more than that?
Well, why is she so interested in Sandy in the first place?
Why are you so mad that she's interested?
Well, you know how I feel about him.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes I wonder just which way those feelings run.
Oh, come on, Jason. Do we have to go through this all over again? You know, I worry about him.
Did too much if you want to know what I think. But I know you don't want to know what I think. So what did you want to know about him?
Well, she swore that it wasn't her. But Mac was worried. Mac wanted to know.
And you don't believe her?
Well, I'm sure that Mac is worried. But what confuses me is why is Cecile so obviously worried?
Cecile and Mac are close. Sandy is Mac's son. Sounds perfectly reasonable to me.
One thing for sure, Jason. She didn't ask those questions for Mac.
What are you implying, Melissa? That Cecile is interested in Sandy in more than a sisterly way?
Well, look. She is married to a really nice guy. Jamie is a terrific kid, and I just don't want to see him hurt.
Why don't you let Jamie take care of his own marriage?
Well, sure, yes, but...
Melissa, tell me something. Is it bothering you that Cecile is married and seems to be chasing after Sandy for less than ethical reasons? Or are you afraid of the competition?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of both.
Mr. Hobson? Mr. Cavallo.
Thanks, Quinn. Well, Mr. Cavallo.
Pretty fancy place you've got here.
Why don't you make yourself comfortable? Would you like some coffee?
No, thanks. I guess I'm a little eager to hear about this Black Hawk project.
Just give me a brief resume of your work record, then I'll tell you what we'd like you to do.
Well, let's see. Been in construction practically ever since I started work. Started as a carpenter's helper, worked my way up to contracting. I've worked just about every major construction job in Bay City. I worked the quarry project most recently, and till they bought it out, those guys came in and fired everyone. I guess they wanted their own men. From what I hear, I was well out of it, so I consider myself lucky.
I think you might have been.
So, what do you have in mind for me?
Mr. Black, he's the owner of Black Hawk Project, wants a penthouse constructed and a heliport.
Sounds like a pretty fancy setup.
It's a big project, Mr. Cavallo, and I don't know that much about construction. I'm a lawyer. I need someone who can take this project over and do it exactly to specification. In other words, the way Mr. Black wants it.
May I have a look at some blueprints?
Sure.
It's a big project, all right.
Think you can handle it?
Yeah, if I have the right crew, I can handle it.
Can you get the right crew?
You, offering me the job?
Can you do it?
Yeah, I can do it.
Then you've got the job, Mr. Cavallo. Now, when can you start?
Yes, Liz. And if you could, I'd appreciate it if you'd send me the blue line of Bravo. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah, and the latest circulation figures? No, don't worry, Liz. I'm not going to overdo. Russ wouldn't let me. Right, I will. Thanks again for those beautiful flowers. I'll be talking to you soon. Hi, the look.
Let me take this.
Thank you.
Well, I see you up to your old tricks again.
Oh, well, I don't see why I shouldn't be productive just because they're forcing me to lie here forever.
Mac, every man's supposed to have a limit. You, I never see you with any.
Oh, I got a lot of limits. I just managed to hide them very well.
Well, I came by to see how you're doing. You look like you're doing fine.
Yeah, boredom is really the only thing I have to contend with here. Until I talked to Liz, I felt kind of disconnected, you know, left out of things. But she's going to send over some work for me to do.
Well, then maybe you want to discuss some business, huh?
Nothing I'd like better. Perhaps you'd better close the door first so some busybody doesn't object to it.
Sure. What I want to discuss, Mac, is an editorial that I wrote. I'd like you to read it before I run it.
Oh, yeah, I'd like to. What's the subject?
Drug rehabilitation.
Now, that's something I'd really be interested in reading.
I thought you would be. I'll tell you, Mac, from what little research I've done in the hospitals, I find that they all have drug rehabilitation centers, programs, or at least they're associated with the hospital.
Well, I wonder how they operate.
Well, first of all, they have detoxification units, and they have psychiatric and psychological counseling for the families and the drug users.
Very complete program, in other words.
And I'll tell you something, Mac, from the reports, they seem to be very, very successful.
Is that right? Have you included those reports in your editorial?
Yes, I have, and in the conclusion, I've tried to get them to adopt it here in Bay City.
Philip, I think that would be a very valuable public service.
I think it'd be very beneficial for the whole city.
Would have been beneficial for Jamie, too, wouldn't it?
There's no doubt about it. I'll tell you something, we would have believed the statistics, and I think we can. You, Rachel, Cecile. Yes, it would have been very beneficial for all of you.
Would you mind leaving this behind for me to read?
I'll sure you keep it. It's a copy.
Thank you, Philip.
Look, as long as you've got some work, I've got to get back into my own. And listen, will you take it okay? Easy?
Right. I really appreciate your leaving this for me and coming over here.
No.
Bye-bye.
Oh, see you.
Nice to see you. Where's Cecile?
Well, she's winding some things up at the complex. She should be here shortly.
Oh.
Come out on the terrace. It's a great afternoon.
Okay. So, you and Cecile are living together here?
Yes, we are.
How's it going?
Between Cecile,
Well, who else am I talking about?
things are going to be just fine.
Really? I hope so.
Wow. You don't sound very convinced.
Well, seeing is believing.
Well, you'll see. We had a great talk, and we're going to give our marriage another try.
She really wants that?
That's what we both want. And don't look so surprised.
Well, we'll see.
No, things are going to be better now. Mac's better, right? He's going to get better. And as soon as I locate Sandy...
Sandy still hasn't been found?
No, he hasn't. Melissa Needham says it's okay that we just left town.
He left town.
Yeah.
Does Cecile know?
Yes, she was the first one to notice he was gone.
I bet she was.
Mom, please.
Sorry.
So why'd you come over here, do I have to ask?
What does that mean?
Aren't you going to ask me if I'm all right? Have I had enough sleep? Getting enough to eat? In charge enough to take over Corey?
Yes, all of the above.
They're all true. Especially the last one.
I can see it is. Except I never thought you were out of control, except for that one time.
Thank you. You know, Mom, I don't know if I ever told you this, but after I got out of the hospital after that overdose, and I tried to convince everyone that I wasn't taking those drugs, you were the only one to believe me.
Of course I believe you. You're my son. I know when you're telling me the
No,
truth.
I mean, you really believed me. I told everyone else. They listened. They tried to be agreeable. They humored me. I think they didn't want to drive me over the edge. They thought I was a little, you know, but you really believed me.
So did Mitch.
I know. Well, it meant a lot to me. It means a lot to me now, too.
Really? Why? Do you think you know who it was that tried to drug you?
No. I don't want to talk about that. I don't think I'll ever know for sure. But I don't really have time to talk about it now. If Mac's going to get better, I'm going to have to devote my full energies to that business.
You'll do just fine.
I know. Oh, Brian's helping out.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, he's taking my old office. Mac wanted him to help me. And I think he's just going to ease the pressure a little bit.
Sounds like Mac.
I just wish that Sandy hadn't left. He did a terrific job.
Well, I'm sure he did. But I'm sure he had his reasons for leaving.
But Mac wants to see me.
I don't think he should be forced to come back here.
Well, I'm not going to force it. But if Mac wants him back, I'm going to do my best to convince him to come back.
Hello, Rachel. I didn't know you were expected.
Hello, Cecile.
Hello, darling.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine.
Good.
Well, I've got to go.
Don't go.
Oh, I have to, honey. I know you want to do this for Mac, but I wish you'd think about it very carefully. Bringing Sandy back might not just be the best idea in the long run. I'll see myself out.
Yeah.
Can I come in?
Yeah, come on in.
How's it going?
It's all right. Did you see Jamie?
Yep.
Yeah, how is he?
He's all right.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. Something on your mind?
Oh, something Jamie said.
Which is?
Mac wants, Sandy to come back to Bay City.
Where is he?
Nobody seems to know. He's just left town.
What, does Mac want him to come back so he can tell Jamie the truth about Sandy?
Yeah, that he's his stepbrother.
Yeah, does that bother you?
I guess it does a little. I can't help it.
That seems to be a turnaround.
Well, I don't know.
I thought you and Mac had agreed to tell him the truth.
Oh, now I'm not so sure it's such a good idea.
Why? You don't think he can handle it? Look, if he can pull his life together, then there's no reason why he can't deal with the truth about Sandy.
Well, maybe you're right.
You might find out that he might be pleased to know that he's got a brother.
Another brother. Matthew's his brother.
Look, one thing I'll tell you. If you know some information and you're not telling him, you're holding out on him, and he finds out, he's going to be angry.
You think so?
Well, you've done it before. You've known something you haven't told him, and he got angry. Why do you think this time would be any different?
I don't know. I guess you're right. It's just that I feel funny about it. I'm not sure how he's going to react to it.
Well, the only thing that he knows is, and what he needs is people to believe in him. The only thing that he needs to know is that people have confidence and he'll be fine.
Okay, you're right. I surrender.
Wise person.
Not often enough.
Oh, that's the dock.
Mm-hmm. Look at that.
You're right. Look at all of that activity. Look at that.
I know. I said that was busy.
And nobody seems to know what's going on?
Not only do they not know what's going on, they don't know who it is.
Well, it seems like we've got a mystery on our hands. All of this activity is going on. All these people are down here, and nobody knows who's behind it?
Whoever it is certainly is trying to keep a secret.
Whew.
Hi. How are you?
Now that's the way I like to be greeted after a hard day's work. Rick, what have you gone and done? Are we celebrating something? Did I forget an important date?
No, you're right on time. You've got a date with me.
Well, I'd ask what it is, but I'm afraid of looking foolish.
You mean you don't remember?
Rick, don't tease me. What is it?
It's our anniversary.
You've lost your mind.
How do you like that? Now, I thought women were supposed to remember things like that.
Rick, what anniversary? You're driving me crazy.
We've been married exactly 3 months and 7 days.
3 months and 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Well, I must confess I did forget.
Well, I'm going to forgive you this time if you're going to be on the ball next time.
Oh, I promise I will. I'll run right out after dinner and buy a pocket calculator so it won't happen again.
All right, well, then I will forgive you.
You know something? You're crazy. You are absolutely stark, staring crazy.
Well, about you, I will admit that.
I'm crazy about you.
Jamie? You never did say what Rachel wanted.
Oh, wanted? She didn't want anything.
She must have come over here for some reason.
She just wanted to know how I was.
Just checking up on her little boy?
I guess so.
Well, what did you two talk about?
Things?
Okay, be like that. Don't talk. That way we'll get closer and closer.
Okay, yes, we did talk about a few things other than my health.
Look, I'm not going to force you to talk.
No. I want to.
Well, if you insist.
Come here. We talked about us. You and me.
Oh?
I told her that I loved you and that I want our marriage to work.
You really do, don't you?
No, I do. What's wrong?
Your ribs, my darling. I don't want you to hurt yourself.
Don't worry about it.
I am worried. Jamie, you have several broken ribs, and Dr. Matthews said
I know
you
what
have to
he
take
said.
it easy.
Did you hear what I said? I said I love you. And I want our marriage to work. So come in.
More of this do you have to do?
Well, I've done about half. I've got some more rows to do, so it'll still be a while yet.
Oh, gosh, you do. Well, I've got to go up and check on the children. Should I come down and tell you when dinner's ready?
Yes, I think that's a good idea. I'd like to take a break.
Oh, good, because we always enjoy having you.
Thank you.
For dinner.
What are you saying? Or, rather, what aren't you saying?
Well, maybe that's just it. Maybe you still don't have enough information.
And you're not going to give it to me, are you? Is that right? What? Is this protecting Jamie?
No, it isn't that.
All right, then what is it? What are you saying? Or, rather, what aren't you saying?
Well, maybe that's just it. Maybe you still don't have enough information.
Honey? Cecile?
Yes.
Did you mean what you said when you said you wanted to start a family?
Yes, Jamie, of course, but if you recall, you said you didn't.
I know, I told you, though, that if you really wanted to, then that's what I want to.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
Oh, Jamie, come on. There you go again, not talking.
No.
Just get up like I said something wrong.
That's not you. It has to do with Mac.
Mac? He's gonna be all right, isn't he?
Yeah, it's not that. It's Sandy.
Sandy?
Yeah, Mac keeps insisting that he wants to see Sandy. And it's very important to him. And I've racked my brain. And I still can't figure out why.
Well, maybe that's just it. Maybe you still don't have enough information.
Join us each weekday at this time for the continuing story of Another World.